Maybe not be a super easy answer, but when you're trying to summarize the secondary's goals this year, maybe an improvement from last year to this year, or just in general, how would you summarize your objectives for this 2020?
Yeah, I think our goal this year is to be consistent. I mean, we can play very well, but we can also not. You know what I'm saying? And so, being able to get through the ups and downs and be able to, once we get high, stay high, or if we have a low, just try not to fall into that hole. You know what I mean? And be able to stay consistent, because things are going to happen, plays are going to be made, and how we respond to them is, I think, the most important thing going in this year.
Xavier Scott over here too, if you guys need it.
Was just my first week of camp, and like for you just to be back on the field and after a lot of time watching for the last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal. Obviously, I love this game. I love the sport, and so just being able to come back after such a long time off, it's just like, it's so thrilling, but at the same time, like, I can step back and just enjoy the game. You know what I mean? Because I've been out so long, and so all these aches and pains that I might have dreaded 2 years ago, now I like enjoy them because it makes me feel like I'm back in the groove of things.
How tough was it last year? It did not play out how you imagined after you came on really strong as a freshman.
Yeah, it was tough. Obviously, I mean, I've said it before, but I don't really like to get into it. Sorry, but it was a rough time, and it's in the past. But I'm more worried about where I'm going. Where we're going.
What did you learn in that time that you're maybe applying now? Just a lot of mental reps last year. How has that helped you?
Yeah, I think being able to watch film a lot and being on the field, almost from a coaching perspective, and see how the numbers fit and how coverages work into the way that the receivers are running routes, all of those different things, how they can play into my knowledge in being able to move in different ways on the field to kind of anticipate what the offense is attacking and how I can defend it better.
Is there anything like in particular that like maybe you see now on the field? It's like, okay, I saw that a bunch watching, like, and then you just made.
Yeah, I mean,
different?
obviously, I'm more of the strong safety position, and so obviously run fitting is kind of something that I deal with on almost like a second linebacker, I guess, and so I guess being on the sideline and being able to watch how the O-line runs those different concepts and things of that sort, it's been a lot easier for me to see them on field because it's slowed down a lot more.
I got a little glimpse Thursday. You and Miles occasionally flip-flop. I mean, what's the comfort level there just between you two?
Yeah.
You can kind of change and.
Yeah, that's kind of back to like how we're trying to figure out how our defense, like what we want how we want our defense to work, and that's kind of just one of the examples of that. That we're in that phase of figuring out how we can be the best defense. You know what I mean? Especially in the back end. And so I guess that was an example of that.
For you, do you feel more comfortable back at free where you can survey the field and get a good view of it, or you like being in the box?
I mean, I'm comfortable with both. I don't think I prefer one over the other. I like to hit, and so I can hit from way back there, or I can hit from being up in the box. It really just depends on what the coaches have for us.
Obviously, you spent your downtime working out. So what role did the Tank and his staff help play in your recovery, and how's that going to help you maybe stay healthy?
I mean, it's been a big role, just finding out ways that I can take care of my body just one step better than the competitors, you know what I mean? Obviously, coming back from the injury and getting hurt again during Penn State, I kind of wondered why that was happening and what caused that, and so I guess figuring out those types of things and being able to prepare for those injuries beforehand played into Tank and his crew and JB and his crew, and just the way that I kind of attack the rehab and prehab process so that I can prevent those injuries in the future.
Is there any maintenance that you still have to do with your shoulder, or is that all completely?
I don't really want to talk about it. Sorry.
What was last season like? I mean, obviously the Penn State game made a really big impact on that, and then to miss that and walk during spring, like just kind of getting to know you, I think that was something you probably enjoyed very much.
And obviously, I don't think any one of these guys would have enjoyed just watching, but it was a dark time. A lot of the season flew by just because I was in my own head about what had happened and how did I get into the position that I was in for a second time, being injured and having to miss time. But I mean, getting out of there, it gives me a perspective of how much I do love football and how much I missed it during that time. And yeah.
What's Terrence Brooks bring to the room? Obviously, a talented player with a history of Power 5 football at Texas.
Yeah, he's a really talented guy. I mean, like his measurements, he's got long arms, he can jump out the roof, he's really fast, and so I think that talent coming onto a team like this where the things we do are pretty simple and it just allows us to play fast. I think being able to incorporate guys like that into our defense is really good.
Do you have some? I know you do, but stupid question. But do you have confidence that the DBs can have a bounce back year?
Yes, 100%. Obviously, but yeah, I think that it's as far as we want to go. As serious as we take the walkthroughs, as we take practice, as we take the meetings, and the way that we attack that process going into the season, I think that we have a really good chance of being a good back end.
You know, Coach Henry talked about, like, when you're out there, there's like a sense of calmness about the defense. So how do you foster, like, maybe it's unintentional, but is there any way you go about trying to foster that calmness?
I think it's consistency, really, like having trust that guys around me and that I'll be in the position that like as a whole we'll be in the position that we need to be when we're needed for, like, whether it's run fits, whether it's coverages, all of those different things. Like there's a sense of calmness knowing that I've got this guy next to me and he knows exactly what he's supposed to do while I know what I'm supposed to do, and the guy next to me on the other side knows what to do. And I think that's the sense of the calmness that he talks about.
I know we talked about you and Sid, kind of that relationship, but how much did you kind of, I feel like he had a similar impact,
Yeah.
so how much did you try to pick up from him in that regard?
Yeah, so I mean, during the time that we had together, I tried to pick as much as possible from what he had, and I think I'm realizing now more as I've gotten older how he was and how he took care of his body and all of those different things, that the way that I didn't really see as a freshman, but now as I'm growing and getting more mature, I'm starting to understand, okay, that's why he's doing it. That's why he took the extra time here. That's why he took the extra time there. And so I've been kind of trying to implement those routines that he had into what I'm doing now.
I know we think a lot, like the free safety spot has typically gotten a lot of like interceptions and
Yeah.
put up big numbers, but like that strong safety spot's also like a playmaking spot
Yeah.
too. So what do you feel like you can add to that in terms of just playmaking at that position?
Yeah, I think just being able to play fast and anticipate what's coming, I think that's a big thing about the game of football. If you're making plays, a lot of the time you know what's coming, and if you don't, you know where they're trying to attack you, and so you can anticipate almost what's going on around you and all of those things. And so I think, like, my ability to do that, and with the help of the coaches and the film and all of that stuff, and their kind of application into me of their knowledge, it's really what pushes us all forward.
What was the feeling like when you got to go out there, no green, no anything, and you got to play?
It's good. First day of pads, it was a fun day. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, I love this game. I love everything about what's going on here at Illinois.
What's the Mayhem belt brought to the room?
The Mayhem belt, the Mayhem King.
Mayhem King, okay.
Yeah. So the Mayhem King, one day after practice, the guy who gets the most turnovers is then in turn the Mayhem King. So whether it's a pick, a punch out, or a sack fumble, obviously we stay away from the QB, but guys who get that back there free, it kind of just breeding that competition in that room and in just out there on the field, it brings us all to a whole new level, understanding that we're competing against the best guys on our side of the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you remember 2022, there was a ton of turnovers.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you remember about the impact? Obviously, getting the ball to the offense speaks for itself, but just
Yeah.
like a momentum impact or just the swing of the game when you guys were able to.
Yeah, I think like you said, like the momentum of the game changes so much with a turnover, especially in the red zone. And so being able to make that change and give our offense back the ball is so important going into this year after not having as many last year.
Really young group last year.
Yeah.
What's that year of playing experience? What's that do for the secondary in terms of being able to maybe have pre-snap movement and fool the quarterback, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think it's really important. Like you said, the experience, it brings a lot, because guys who have come out of high school and kind of put through the fire, you know what I mean? They begin to understand more and are able to learn faster as we turn around going through the spring and into the fall. It brings another sense of like anticipation or understanding. It kind of slows the game down a lot because in practice it's a lot slower than games, obviously. And so after being in a game first, going into the practice, going back into the games, it just you can calm down, but it allows you to like move faster almost because everything else is in slow motion.
Something